Avatar The Last Airbender is ruining animation. Recently, Avatar The Last Airbender has leaked all over the internet. And the way that Paramount handled it sucked. Tell me, Zay, what did you think recently about the internet exploding over this Avatar The Last Airbender leak?
Man, this situation is like there's a lot of layers to it, and there's like a lot of nuance and a lot of things to discuss. But I do think a lot of people on the internet and a lot of people on Twitter specifically kind of showed what they believe in and what they're trying to like get at. I personally 100% understand not supporting Paramount when it comes to the release of this Avatar movie, the way that they moved it from theatrical to streaming, and it seemed like they didn't care about it. Like I 100% like agree that that's wrong, and that Paramount not caring about it is wrong, and that they should be, 100% interested in pushing this movie and giving it the respect it deserves. But I also think just the movie leaking is like the worst case scenario that we could have had for the film. Like I think that Paramount not caring about it is bad, but also like it leaking, that's not the way that you want to go. It's not like there's a fork in the road and those are the only two options. I think that the middle option could have been, okay, they market it a little bit, it releases on streaming, and then a lot of people watch it on streaming, and then we get a sequel, and then we get, more stories in this universe where we get older Aang. You know what I mean? Because
Can
I
I
think
be
the only
honest with
place that
you?
we've
I
had.
think I think even the middle road that you're suggesting is still like too optimistic. Because if they're a studio that has clearly shown that they do not care about the IP, it more the if we're just throwing stuff at the wall, if one end of the spectrum is hey we're gonna drop it, it does super well. The other end of the spectrum is we never drop it and we use it as a tax write off. And to be honest, the way that they treated the IP makes me lean towards we're probably never gonna drop this and use it as a tax write off. Because in order for you to take as long as it did to even like discuss whether or not it's gonna be released, because it was done for a minute before they even like was like, ah, maybe we should throw this in theater, and then they realized, nah, we don't want to do that. Like they crunched whatever numbers that they wanted to crunch and decided that wasn't a profitable thing. So then they said, all right, cool, we'll just put it on streaming. And then from the moment that they decided to put it on streaming, it was supposed to get there in October, which at the time of this recording, that's what 6 months from now, and there hasn't been any sort of promotion. There hasn't been anything even hinting at the fact that they were ready to drop this in October, outside of like a random announcement last year and like some artwork character designs that we had seen previously. So I don't know if in your scenario that you're painting, we would have got the version that you were trying to say, like, oh yeah, it dropped, people loved it, and then we got sequels and everything. Like I don't know that that exists, and obviously we won't get the chance to know that because of what happened. And again, it's messed up that it got leaked. It shouldn't have got leaked, but also I don't know if people defending or not defending, but people watching the leak or people praising the leak is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't know that that's bad considering the fact that we probably would have never gotten it or probably would have never gotten any more sequels after this.
The way that streamers market their shows now and market the things that drop on their apps, it's definitely like we're seeing a lot less marketing now than we used to. Normally it was like, okay, you get a trailer like like at least 6, maybe 9 months before the thing comes out on streaming, and then you like that whole time, and then there's like a little bit of build up. Now streamers are deciding to, okay, we're going to release a trailer like maybe like 2 weeks before this drops on streaming. And I think that that's probably what Paramount was gonna do. And it's like that's kind of the way that streamers acted. So we didn't really get the chance to kind of like see what the marketing could have been, or what they were going to do with like the build up. But again, I don't think anybody watching it is like bad. Like I don't think watching it is like a bad thing to do, because people are gonna watch leaks. Like that's just how it is. People are
Yeah.
gonna watch leaks. Like you can't
By the
stop
way,
that
I
from
seen it
happening.
3 times. By the way, generational
He's
film.
watched.
Seen it 3 times. It's an amazing film.
Yeah, like people are gonna watch leaks. You can't stop that. You can't make people stop watching leaks. That's just never gonna happen. But you do have to acknowledge the fact that you watching the leak is not great for the outcome of this. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not like you watching the leak is like some sort of like neutral zone that there's no morality in.
I don't think that this is necessarily a moral issue, but I will say before I even get into like we get into that side of the conversation, I do want to say like the reason for anybody that's confused, right? The reason that it things like this are important to drop on streaming isn't even necessarily of what it could bring into the future, but what it does for the immediate people involved is it provides them like an actual resume builder. Like somebody who is animating on this thing, whatever layer of animation they did, whether it's like the background, whether they did cleanup, whatever they did to participate in this film, they now can use that experience to leverage them to like pitch themselves to other jobs. And so when you have something that you worked on for so long, not getting like an official release like this and you're not properly credited, then it's almost as if you didn't do it and that doesn't help you get other jobs. In a world where every single major studio within like the past week or two has had an announcement of them cutting departments and everybody's being consolidated and the rise of AI and how studios are involving that. Like having big IPs and having successful IPs on your resume matters more today than it did yesterday. So from that perspective, that's why for in a very tangible way, something like this leaking is not a good thing. Now, this isn't to cape for Paramount. Paramount's $1 billion company. We don't give a fuck about them. But what we do give a fuck about is the guy who needs his next meal based off of the work that he did in this project. Now they got paid, but they're not able to leverage that to get new jobs, and that's essentially what we care about. So outside of that, I don't view this as like a moral thing because, like you said, leaks happen all the time. People are going to participate in leaks. Me and you both are people who sit on this channel and praise the pirating websites. Like we go to Hydra, we go to 123 movies or whatever,
Naming it is
and we
crazy. You
watch
got to
it.
censor that.
It's I'm a censor that, but I'm naming it for the sake of the conversation. I got you. We go to these sites, we talk about them all the time. The funny thing is I'm going to censor it and you said to censor it. There's been plenty of times where I didn't censor it in these past pods that we'll just reference it, and so it does feel contradictory in nature for both of us to hail pirate sites as much as we do, and then to look at the leak online and be like, well, I'm not participating in that because morally it doesn't align with what I'm doing, when in reality that's what we do all the time.
I don't know. I just think that I think it's different because when something comes out officially and it's had like the marketing build up and it's had like everything behind it, me watching it on like supposedly. Now I go to the theaters for every single movie that I watch. I don't actually do this.
Every single movie.
Every single movie that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I think me watching it after it's released and after it's already come out and after it's officially been talked about and like that has like little for me just in my brain, you know. And maybe I'm grandstanding. I probably am grandstanding and like morally like, you know, standing on my high horse. But I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with standing on my high horse for this one thing if I feel like it respects the art form in a way. Like I think that what some people are kind of missing is that like people bring up all the time that like, oh, these animators got paid, why are they mad that it released, these animators got this or whatever. And to your point, yes, like they can use this on their resume when it's officially released, but also there's like just an artistic thing about it being cathartic that it officially released, it officially came out, and people can like praise it officially. You know what I mean? Like people can like, you know, say like, "Oh, you did such a great job on this." Like that's really satisfying. And it's like the fact that it leaked and it came out the way that it did, it's hard for them to like say like, "Okay, I can't really interact with you in terms of like you saying your opinion on this Avatar movie because of what happened. Like I can't really like thanks, but I can't really, you know, use that."
So I understand what it is that you're saying about this cathartic thing of like, hey, this is officially released. it's this breath of fresh air. It's like, oh man, whew, 2 years of my life, 3 years of my life has come down to this moment, and now we're here. It's officially released. But this also reminds me of an argument that I had with like a coworker of mine one time,
Mm,
and he was this older guy in the industry. He'd done everything that you could think of as far as filming, where he like started at music videos, he's done short films, he's done web series and things of that nature. And we were actually talking about, ironically, the morality of using pirating websites. And his stance was, if you truly love the art, if you truly appreciate the art, go and support it in any way that you can. And by supporting it, meaning financially, going to the movie theaters, either buying it directly, doing things of that nature. Like that is going to show more support. And my counter argument to that was, well, what matters to you as a creator? Does the financial benefits matter, or does the impact to the people matter? Are you creating art because you want to sit here and be like, yo, I'm able to do this, I'm able to do this with the money? And obviously this is like, this conversation exists outside of like the reality of like people needing to eat and stuff like that. But just in this hypothetical conversation, which more are we more aligning ourselves with as artists? Hey, I got to get paid. Hey, I got to do this. Or, hey, I've created something that has impacted lives and people are better off for it. Because when I look at people responding to Avatar, how many views it got, like there's an official report to be like, oh, it got over 10 million views on YouTube. It's gotten way more than, I mean, 10 million views on Twitter. It's gotten way more than that. The leak was everywhere. Accounts were being slashed because they had to leak. I'm saying personally, as somebody who was seeing it in real time on the timeline, 100 million plus. I would argue it's gotten over 1 billion views based off of the way it was being shared. And so you created that though. Like I'm an artist that participated in that movie. And while I know I can't put it on my resume, no, there's not an official release party that I get to clink glasses with, be like, wow, we did that. But to see the hard work that I put in impact people in a positive way, I think as an artist, like as much as this is a shitty situation, I feel like I can walk away being like, all right, man, oof, it's gonna be hard for it was already gonna be hard for me to get a job. It's gonna be a little bit harder. But damn, we did that. Damn, I made an impact. Damn, there's somebody who is like who is inspired by that, who like turned on Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie that they just dropped, and was like, damn, I want to do that, or turned that on and was like, wow, the lesson I learned here impacted how I'm going to maneuver throughout life. Like to me, that's the bigger point of art rather than the financial side, because the financial side is so flugazy. The financial side is so like hit or miss. Like I can't be in this for the financial side. Like we keep explaining, these animators need resume builders in order to get their next job in a world where their job is constantly being cut. There's less and less and less and less people that are able to get jobs no matter what projects they worked on. So we exist in this world where financially I'm probably not going to benefit the most from. So at least at the end of the day, what I have is, damn, my art impacted somebody to the fullest extent.
No, I can't disagree with that. I think that that fully makes sense. I want to go back to a point I made earlier because I'm changing my fucking mind. I'm not morally grandstanding or standing on my fucking high horse because I'm not telling y'all not to fucking watch it. I never fucking said that. I'm doubling down actually, nigga.
What
Niggas
makes you
telling me I'm
double
standing on
down?
my high horse for not watching a leaked film. Suck my dick.
But what makes you double down?
What makes me double down? Because I felt like I was giving up. I felt like I was giving up too much ground. I was giving y'all too much grace. I'm doubling down on it because I'm not. It's just me. Like it's just me. It's a choice that I'm making myself that you really shouldn't have a problem with.
I don't think
In the same
people
way
I
that I
don't
don't
think
have a problem with
people
you for watching it 3 times. I don't have a problem with you, Billy, for watching
Yeah,
it.
I
I don't
don't
have.
have a problem with you saying like, yo, I'm not going to watch it. I'm only going to respond in the shoes of the people who are saying like you're morally grandstanding. That like I'm just going to play devil's advocate really quick.
Yeah,
Um because your moral grandstand, like what does that mean, like what does that do? And while in the context of like participating in a film, I understand it means it's a drop of water in a bucket, right? And
yeah,
so I'm gonna assume that you're gonna be like, hey, it's more like morals don't have to have this huge impact. Morals are for yourself. So it's like if I participate in what I think are good morals, that exists solely for me, knowing that like I did a good thing, knowing that I'm walking with my head high. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're exactly correct. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So my counter to that would be like the perceived moral grandstanding is again, whether you did it or not is whatever, but the perceived moral grandstanding from the devil's advocate position, it feels like, and just hear me out on this metaphor, it does feel like the back in 2020, the white girl who was like, yo, I'm posting this black square,
Mm.
and while the black square meant nothing, literally as a black person, why are you doing that? But to her, it felt like, yo, I'm making this stance. I'm doing this thing morally. And she was able to walk outside with her head held high. As a black person going through what we went through, going to the protests, I'm looking at her like, you're fucking insane. Now, it does that affect her? Is she still like, oh, morally, I'm good, good, good? Probably. But objectively, it's like you're doing nothing. This means nothing. You're doing this as a performative act. And again, to play devil's advocate, grandstanding and being like, and it's not just you again, perceived you, but it's a lot of people on the timeline being like, oh, you guys are the worst people in the world for even thinking that you should participate in this. Da 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 da. There's a lot of grandstanding on more extreme sides that exist online on Twitter from like people within the animation community, not even people directly involved, but just people within the animation community. And it feels like I said, it feels like you're posting black squares just so you can feel good, when in reality it's like this fight that you're fighting is useless. You're fighting a shadow. It's not a fight that you'll ever win, and it's not a fight that you should participate in.
I I don't disagree with that, but where I think maybe this is a little bit more nuanced than like a black square is the fact that we weren't telling I don't think we were telling white people back in 2020 to post a black square. Like I don't remember ever like black people ever being like, yo, post this black square to show that you stand with us. You know what I mean? I do think that it's different that the animators that worked on this project have asked people to not watch it. I do think that's different, and I do think that counts for something.
Yeah, I think and this is coming from somebody who, this is an animated show. There's multiple people involved in making the show even a thing. And then I spend hours editing this thing. When I have an idea for a show, when I have an idea for anything, the first thing I think of is animation. So this is coming from me, who I can firmly say I'm in the animation like industry. Ah, them niggas is like, they're just upset. You're listening to people who are caught in the whirlwind of like, yo, something I worked on for 3 years means nothing. You're listening to somebody in the most emotionally vulnerable state like say words. Like you can't, as much as you want to like participate and take it like seriously and understand where they're coming from, there is a part of you that's like, listen, I get it, hugs, kisses, but like, nigga, it's the internet, it's everywhere, bro. Like it just, to me, it just feels like a battle that is focused on the wrong thing. Like to me, if you're an animator in this movie, if you're somebody who says I morally do not stand with people participating and watching this film, you shouldn't be focused on that. You should be focused on, hey, Paramount sucks as a company. They are taking advantage of the people that are working for them. Not only are they taking advantage of the people that are working for them, but they are sitting here and holding on and hoarding IP to the point where it's like it's negatively affecting their employees. Hey, here's $1 billion corporation that is slashing and cutting jobs constantly. Like to me, that's where the focus should be on, not the audience. The audience is gonna do whatever the fuck they want. The audience is ravenous. The people who exist to consume are ravenous. That's all we do on the internet. It's just we consume, we consume, we consume. So being mad is something that is a person that is like bred to consume content on the internet, consuming content on the internet is a wasted fight, when the fight should be Paramount is a sucky $1 billion corporation. We need to address that
But
because
here's
in the
here's the thing.
timeline, hold on, one more thing. Because in the timeline of this movie being leaked, the person who leaked it actually like told Paramount like, hey, I have this. You can have like, I'ma leak it unless you do XYZ. And Paramount thought they were bigger than the program, and they didn't respond. They didn't participate in Obviously, don't negotiate with terrorists, but like they didn't try to negotiate, and then he leaked it. He's like, all right, fine, it's out of here. Boom. So Paramount had an opportunity to not have it leaked, and they didn't take advantage of it. It's like, to me, this is all Paramount. All the energy should be focused on evil billion-dollar corporation, not consumer who's consuming. It's fork found in kitchen.
So here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say towards that. If we're gonna use your point from earlier, we're gonna say that I'm a working class nigga with no power. I don't, I'm not on the board of directors of Paramount. I don't like make these decisions. Me watching the movie does nothing. If we're gonna say that and we're gonna use that, which I don't even like disagree with that. I have to, I have to like not watching the movie. That there's no way that harms the situation more than it helps. And then me also saying the company sucks, me doing that together, there's no way that that's worse than watching the movie. You understand? You feel what I'm saying? Like,
No, I
there's
get
no
I get what you're
way.
saying,
There's
but
no
but
way.
there's
Like, no, that's just what I had to say. Like, watching the movie, there's an argument I can make that harms people, that harms the situation. But me not watching it and then saying agreeing with you on the fact that Paramount is like terrible and billion-dollar corporation, all that stuff, all that fact, like, come on, like there's no way you can't tell me that doesn't like that's not better.
I'm not telling you it's not better. All I'm saying is because we've already said that you're not moral grandstanding. You just have this idea of like whatever. But I'm saying the perceived moral grandstanding is like looked at in a side eye way because of XYZ reasons. That's all I'm saying. There's a reason why niggas is looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? There's a reason why when like when people come out and be like, no, no, don't do it, don't do it. Niggas is posting that meme like, oh, get away from my billion-dollar company. There's a reason why, because it feels bootlicking. It feels like some. It feels it reads like some coon shit. Now, is it? When you look deeper into it, no. But niggas aren't gonna look deeper into it. Niggas are only gonna take things for on the surface level. Why? Because of what I said earlier. The internet, the way society is right now, we are bred to constantly consume. I am not going to sit here and demonize a person who is bred to consume, doing the thing that they are bred to do, consume. That's all we're for. That is all we are taught to do. That's all we are trained to do. Is to live on the internet and constantly consume. So as like I said, as an animator, as if I was an animator on the movie, I would not be on Twitter being like, guys, don't watch this. Oh, don't do this. Da 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 da. You guys are the worst. Da 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 da. Da. Because I am talking to a literal content pig, bro. You know pigs, bro. Pigs eat any and everything. If you leave a pig alone long enough, it'll eat its own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what a pig is. And we on the internet, me and you and everybody else is just all we are is just content pigs. So for me it's like to bring up another metaphor. Uh, to me, it's like people having the stance is like the fat nigga that's always eating candy, always doing this, looking at a Reese's and be like, I don't know why you eat that. It's like, nigga, you fat too. There's contradictions that exist within your existence every single day. Like, why are we getting on this high horse all of a sudden and again, it feels like on behalf of Paramount. Like, huh? When again, that's just the surface. We've talked about what it means on a deeper level throughout this entire video. So when you leave this video, you shouldn't say, hey, the people who are arguing this are XYZ. When you leave this video, you should say, this is how the animation industry works. This is how they get their jobs. Billion-dollar corporation bad. That is the takeaway from this video. But surfacely, again, when you stand on these moral high grounds, it does feel like bootlicking on the behalf of Paramount, and people are gonna have a problem with that if that's what it looks like surfacely.
And people are stupid.